Come on. There we go. All right. I think my computer's starting to suffer a little bit from this 10-hour cast. I think we're hitting 10 hours. We're hitting 9 hours right now. It's 9-hour cast, ladies and gentlemen. We're hopping into game number 1. And I'm still excited because we are going to be casting these two players spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. We have the no, what am I talking about? I'm not going to pretend to know the country because I totally forgot. I'm blanking. It's been a long day. We have representing Team Silicon Esports. It's NXZ. I double check that in a second. And up here at the top right-hand corner of the map, a really, really awesome, the best Indian player in the world for StarCraft 2. Give it up for Storm Gaming's DemiLove. My boy Varun. All right, I'm gonna double check this. We're going to the stats screen, ladies and gentlemen. Stats. Australia. Okay, NXZ was Australian. Okay, wrong screen. All right, Australia versus India. Who will prevail in the ZvZ? ZvZ is probably one of the worst things to watch, actually, in this situation where you're starting to get a little bit more tired, because there's a lot of subtleties that you have to really pay attention to. You can't just look at something at any given moment and just say, oh, I know the exact state of the game, because you have to look at a lot more than just, oh, here's the unit counting station, or here's the army supply, or everything. There could be a big round of units that are about to pop out. You have to pay attention to larva. You have to pay attention to where the queen injects are at. You have to pay attention to all kinds of stuff, like where the tech is at, and of course, like how many units there are, how many drones there are that are not only in production, or sorry, that are only exist, but are also in production. So do forgive me if I miss out on some of these things. I really do apologize for it. But Banliness going up over here for DemiLove. He's definitely playing a little bit on the safer side. Not going to be taking any chances. And of course, similar thing going to be going from coming out from NXZ. Neither of these players really want to go crazy all-out early aggression, at least not yet. And neither of them really want to just forego Baneling, Zergling defense. And they're not going to just go and try and go straight into roaches, but handful of Zerglings being made over here. A decent chunk of them over here for DemiLove. Ooh, this is looking like he wants to get a bit aggressive. He started up Zergling speed. He only has 2 guys in gas, but it's going to still be enough that he can start to make a decent chunk of... oh, wait. Oh, this is a big reveal. Seeing all these Zerglings, I think that immediately NXZ is going to know, wait a second. That was a lot of Zerglings. I need to start making some Zerglings of my own. I need to start getting my own Banelings up. Because he made a couple of extra drones. He made 5 extra drones. And that could come back to bite him in the butt. DemiLove coming in with just two straight Banelings. And he manages to kill a handful of Zerglings and 2 of the Banelings for NXZ. That's a really nice win. Gonna be making a couple more Banelings. Ends up losing some of these Zerglings. Remember, DemiLove is up 1-0 in this best of 3. We're hopping into game number 2. Sorry if I didn't make that clear. But DemiLove finished up some more of these Banelings. And he's retreating with the Banelings. This is a little bit weird. He's going to be moving in with some of these Zerglings. A couple of Banelings been finishing up for NXZ. And DemiLove, I guess, was using those Banelings as a zoning maneuver. But at the same time, going to be killing off a couple of these drones. Some more of these Zerglings do end up popping out. But here we go. Banelings exploding on a lot of the drones. A lot of drone damage was done. Well, actually, only 4 drones killed so far. A lot of them just softened up. And at the same time, Queen gets picked off on the other side of the map. DemiLove, got to be very careful. He's going to be taking some losses, and he is up 1 drone, which can make a world of difference, but he's got some more drones on the way. He just has to make sure he doesn't die to this massive swarm of incoming Zerglings, because right now he is sitting down in that worker count. He needs some Banelings if he wants to be able to hold this 3rd expansion. Zerglings are trying to buy time. He's making a couple more Banelings. He has some Banelings over there on the other side of the ramp, and these Banelings are going to be critical in being able to defend this 3rd expansion. If he can defend this 3rd expansion, he's going to be sitting in a much better position. Oh, a decent hit over there. I think it's going to be enough. DemiLove is going to be able to hold on a little bit longer. 1 Baneling goes off. The other Zerglings are going to end up falling as they try and right-click themselves down on that Baneling. DemiLove's okay with the trade, though, and he makes a couple more Banelings for defensive purposes. Oh, that's a lot of Banelings over here for NXZ. NXZ is not feeling good about taking this to the later stage of the game. He wants to do something right now. He's got a Roach Warren coming down also. Banelings going off left and right, but I think that this may end up working out in the favor of DemiLove right now, unless NXZ can make some miraculously good Baneling hits happen. And let me tell you, he's got enough Banelings to make something like that happen. Oh, this is a scary situation. DemiLove got to try and find a way to trigger these banelings. A couple of them go off on the mineral line, but actually not killing any of the drones. These banelings have not been as effectual as I think NXZ really needed or wanted. And somehow DemiLove is still darting around with these Zerglings, but oh god, he finally eats it. The third expansion gonna be very vulnerable, but oh my god, those banling hits! Oh, DemiLove, he brings himself back into the game with just 2 baneling hits. The Queen trying to focus fire down the banelings. This is still a very, very close game. DemiLove still sitting on a 3 drone lead and a third expansion. He seems like he's holding. I think he might have held. He's only got 1 queen worth of larva injects, but at the same, well, actually not even throwing down larva injects, throwing down a creep tumor instead. But the aggression is not over, and of course, he has 3 hatcheries, so he does have that extra larva from there. In the meanwhile, we still do have 2 queens constantly larva injecting for NXZ. I feel like NXZ is still going to have a little bit more larva. DemiLove trying to pump out those banelings, trying to pump out those Zerglings, and I think that with this next round of Zerglings, as long as he doesn't take a massive hit, even these roaches are going to struggle to do a whole lot of damage here. But here we go. Baneling's getting very close to morphing in. DemiLove, he's playing with fire right now. Oh, great baneling hits going off on a lot of the Zerglings, but DemiLove just doesn't have enough at the end of it. More Zerglings gonna be popping out, but he's got to deal with some Zerglings, or sorry, these banelings, as well as the roaches of NXZ. And this is where a spine crawler would have made a world of difference. I don't know if he could have afforded one at any point, but he's gonna try and focus fire down these Zerglings, but no, it's just a little bit too much. No, DemiLove manages to overpower. Baneling's coming in, and DemiLove retreats out at the absolute last second. I'm actually amazed at how awesome the back and forth the ZvZ is right now. DemiLove, he's holding it off. He's doing it. 4 worker advantage. We're getting to the point where it's almost 8 minutes. Very soon the main bases are going to be mined out. This is where DemiLove will start to get that nice advantage, because he can transfer workers to that third expansion. Oh, I mean, not the greatest of engagements over here for I actually don't even know who to favor right now, but a baneling goes off, killing off a couple of workers. Queen goes down once again. DemiLove gonna have the superior number of Zerglings. And where are the reinforcements? NXZ takes a third expansion behind the scenes, somehow manages to drone up a good bit, but DemiLove isn't convinced that this aggression is over, so he's still pumping out Zerglings. In fact, he's gonna be going for the counter aggression. What does NXZ have to defend? NXZ is trying to pump out roaches. This is the best chance he's got. Roaches are a very good solution to try and deal with a lot of speed Zerglings. Speed Zerglings now charging on into that third expansion, not trying to go straight over to the natural, not going into the main base, not going for the big run by, and now the roaches are in high enough number that they can block this ramp. DemiLove may try and go for the guaranteed kill on the third, but here come in some banelings. Banelings gonna be helpful at doing some splash damage to the roaches, make it a little bit easier for these Zerglings, but the roaches are in a really nice position. They're trading rather cost effectively, and I think that NXZ might hold. Both of the players are droning. Both of the players are droning. We made it past it. Oh my god. That was intense. That was a very intense series of ZvZ Ling baneling aggression with roaches mixed in, and finally it looks like DemiLove getting up his own roach run, but he is going to be sitting a bit further behind in that roach count, and also sitting further behind in the drone count. So I think that NXZ, he lost a lot of those roaches to the Zerglings, which is not something that happens super duper often in that number. But DemiLove is going to be able to play a little bit of catch up. He has a third expansion, and these guys are sitting on relatively even worker counts. Even if he's down a bit in the roach count, he's got more Zerglings. He can go for counterattacks. He can potentially try and contest a fourth expansion or make things awkward. Go for just scouting information even to play a little bit greedier. And oh, look at this. One Zergling making his way into the main base, sees the lair timing. That's really important. And did he see the other gas geysers? If he saw every gas geyser, that's really nice. But no, he just barely misses the third and fourth gas geysers at the natural. Just important in realizing, okay, if my opponent's grabbing every single gas geyser, there's a chance that there might be a Spire coming. If not, there might be just Hydralis or Roaches and Ravagers pumping out. Either way, DemiLove getting up his own lair tech, and looking at his own gas geyser counts. We have 1, 2 at the natural, we have 1 in the main base, and we have 2 in, or sorry, 4 and 5 at the 3rd expansion. A couple Zerglings running in over here for NXZ, getting a scout off and be able to get, pick off a couple of these workers to get a nice little worker lead, of course. 51 to 56 drones, but DemiLove still joining up. This is again why I'm not going to try and count drones to the exact drone, because it is so difficult to keep track of that, as well as what drones are in production, and you end up having to do a lot of math on stream, which is not highly recommended. But just in terms of numbers, that is kind of easy. 118 supply versus 89. That is definitely telling a very clear tale. And it's all in that army supply. NXZ has a relatively even worker count, has even bases with a 4th expansion already going up. But he also has 25 or 26 roaches to 8. Almost more than 3 times the number of roaches that DemiLove has out on the map at that moment. Overseer comes in and scouts out everything, seeing, most importantly, I guess, that there's no Spire coming, so he doesn't have to deal with that, and that his own Spire could be rather effective. But that's only if he just doesn't die to the impending attack that NXZ is going for, which I feel like may very well be the case. There are just so many more roaches available for NXZ compared to DemiLove. And DemiLove is going to have to try and use... He's not going to be making roaches for a little bit. He's going to be making those Mutalisks so that he can seize control of the map, start taking out some of these overlords and everything. But all of this gas is about to be dumped into Mutalisks. There we go. All of the gas being dumped in. Almost all the gas. He still has 200 gas left over. Ignore that, though. Pretend like he dumped all of the gas in. Pretend that I was right about something. +1 missile attacks is also finished off for NXZ. That is, oh boy, having a superior number of roaches and also having +1 missile attacks. This is where things get really, really dicey. DemiLove is going to be depending on being able to defend this. And not only that, but potentially going for the big counterattack and being able to take out a 4th expansion, or at least defend his own 4th expansion, which is being taken out by these Zerglings. Or at least delayed by those Zerglings. But, oh, Mutals coming on in. They're trying to focus fire down some of these Ravagers. That's a one way to try and take a nice advantage with these Mutalisks. But I fear that DemiLove just straight up does not have enough, even with the Spinecrawler in the mix. The Roach Ravager count is way too damn high for NXZ. He is going to be moving into the main base. He's going to be moving into the 3rd expansion. Taking engagements. Oh, he's losing a lot of these roaches over at the 3rd, but the roaches in the natural in the main. But the roaches in the 3rd expansion may end up reigning supreme, even with the Mutalisks trying to take him out as quickly as possible. The 3rd expansion goes down. The 4th expansion is finished up, and NXZ is doing the drone damage he needs to as well. DemiLove, I'm so sorry. I've cursed you. This is not what I meant to do. DemiLove, it looks like he's going to be losing game number 2 and tying up the series 1-1 as the Australian Zerg player is probably going to end up taking this, unless by some crazy miracle these Mutals literally change the entire game. Okay, wait a second. There are a couple of Mutalisks. There are a decent number of Mutalisks. But with Spore Crawlers out, can he really defend this? Well, okay, there's Hydralisks coming out too now. That I feel like is going to be a bit too much. NXZ sitting up at 61 workers. Has fallen a bit behind that army supply. But a lot of that army supply is going to be Mutalisks, which are not going to be great at direct engagements with all these Hydralisks popping out. It's going to be a 2-base Zerg versus a 4-base Zerg. In one of those bases, I say like 2-base Zerg, and I'm not referring to the fact that this 3rd is not finished. I'm referring to the fact that the main base is effectively mined out. Although, oh, one guy on each of one of these gas causes, that is not probably how he wants to use his workers. Probably wants to have 3 guys on each of those gas causes, especially if he's trying to make a bunch of these roaches and ravagers and everything. Instead of long distance mining, I feel like that might be a better opportunity. Well, Mutals are doing a nice job of seizing up map control. DemiLove is keeping himself in this game, at least in terms of supply. Gonna be able to get straight pickoffs on some of these Hydralisks, cut down the number of reinforcements, and even some of the roaches. Maybe even pull this army back a little bit. But NXZ is not having any of it. NXZ is charging straight across the map. DemiLove has a lot of roaches, though. Did I count DemiLove out of this a little bit too early? I may have. NXZ is retreating. NXZ is retreating on home. And DemiLove is going to have a bit more time to have this 3rd expansion start to pay off again. He's going to have a bit more time to maybe establish a 4th expansion. Oh, but NXZ, I mean, he can take a 5th expansion. Well, the 5th expansion is going to be hard to defend with these Mutalisks. As the drone gets killed off, Mutalisk, very careful with that control. Gotta pull that back from all of these Hydralisks. DemiLove is doing his absolute best to prove that I am not cursing him. That whenever I cast DemiLove, he doesn't end up losing. But he's still up against the ropes right now. He's doing a great job. I love the juking he's doing with these Mutalisks. And guess what? He's gonna be able to move back in and cancel that 5th expansion if he goes straight for it. I guess he doesn't entirely realize it's being retaken. And here we go. Hydralisk and Roaches moving on in. DemiLove got to really rely on some good corrosive bile shots. And hey, those are some pretty good corrosive bile shots. Get some great hits on a lot of the Hydralisks, especially. The Hydralisks, the real soft units in this engagement. But still, the Hydralisks are just doing so much damage. Mutalisks are coming back over home to defend, though. Is this going to be enough? I think that he's cutting very, very close with some reinforcements. He may be able to take out all the Hydralisks. Once the Hydralisks are taken out, it's just Roaches, and he can try and rally out as many Roaches as possible. Oh, but at the same time, the 4th expansion is going to get killed off. No cancel being done over there, and NXZ is starting to lead up 50 supply. I think that this might just be a little bit too much. Finally, NXZ, he's charging on in the middle. Okay, maybe I'm not going to call it just yet, just because that didn't go so well last time. It seems like DemiLove is going to be able to clean up again. But losing the 4th expansion was brutal. Especially with the 5th expansion being taken over here for NXZ. And this is not going to be quite as easy to cancel. Because some of those Mutalisks have gone down. He's sitting on only 6 Mutalisks with 7th Mutalisks on the way. It's not a building hatchery. It's just a hatchery. Oh boy. DemiLove. He is given it his all. If this was an anime, if this was Dragon Ball Z, DemiLove would be bruised and battered Gohan trying to make it work, but ultimately Raccoon NXZ overtakes him and takes the game. Oh right, there's these cool victory introduction screens. Those were things that I was given.